Red Bull's decision to swap drivers 2 races into the season has astonished fans, pundits, and their own drivers. For the Japanese Grand Prix, Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda will swap seats in a desperate attempt by Red Bull to try and kickstart a Constructors' Championship challenge, which already looks futile. Red Bull's history of erratic driver decisions has repeated itself, and Verstappen is not happy. He is without a car that can win races. He's unhappy with the decisions that the team are making, and at the moment, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Today, I'll talk about Red Bull's problems and what it means for Verstappen's future, so don't go anywhere. So the news broke this week that Red Bull have made one of the most ruthless driver decisions in recent F1 memory. The 23-year-old New Zealander Lawson will swap places with Japanese driver Yuki Tsunoda and return to Red Bull's second team, the Racing Bulls, from the next race in Japan in a week's time. The decision was reached by Red Bull bosses, including team principal Christian Horner, at a meeting in Dubai on Monday. Red Bull have a reputation for making snap decisions over their drivers, when perhaps waiting longer would have been more sensible. Nick de Vries was sacked after 10 underwhelming races for the team, despite only having 2 points less than his teammate. Pierre Gasly got 12 races before being subjected to an ill-fated mid-season swap with Alex Albon, who took just as big a beating from Verstappen as Gasly got. Sergio Perez got a contract extension after 9 races in 2024, when Red Bull could have waited far longer to decide whether he warranted one or not. That was a decision that surprised many people at the time, as Checo's performance had just taken a big downturn and hadn't been great toward the end of 2023 either, though we now know that the characteristics of the car may have played a larger part in his results than his own performance did. Add to that the whole Daniel Ricciardo fiasco, and you have half a decade of pretty short-sighted and erratic driver decisions. But the decision to demote Lawson after 2 races, when the car is clearly a bigger problem than the driver, is on another level of trigger happiness. That's not to knock Yuki Tsunoda at all. It could and maybe should be argued that he deserved that seat in the first place, but after making the decision to go with Lawson, Red Bull should at least have given him time. As sacking 2 races into his first full-time F1 seat is hard to justify, even with his poor results in those first 2 races. All it will do is confirm to Red Bull that yes, it is definitely the car that is a problem, something that is patently obvious to everyone watching. Despite the drama over the second Red Bull seat, things are relatively okay for Verstappen at the moment. Max is currently second in the Drivers' Championship, just 8 places behind Norris, but to just give the numbers and ignore the context would be a mistake. Piastri's unfortunate trip to the grass at the Australian Grand Prix stopped him from securing second place. George Russell is showing that he can drive his Mercedes faster than Verstappen can drive his Red Bull, and it's probably only a matter of time until Antonelli settles in and starts doing the same. And Ferrari? Well, they have been Ferrari so far, but there definitely is pace in the car. Hamilton showed that at the Shanghai Sprint race, but they have to get out of their own way, something that's easier said than done. That is at least 6 cars that could be beating Verstappen on paper. Of course, Max's raw talent would drag my 1999 Honda Civic Sport to a better finish than a Sauber. Now, Red Bull have had problems for a while now, and they've only gotten worse this year. Last year, around the summer break, Verstappen started to complain about issues that Perez had been voicing for the past year. The Red Bull was becoming too unstable even for him. Perez revealed during the summer break of 2024 that some Red Bull engineers had actually approached him to offer an apology for not listening to his concerns. To be fair, some of the engineers after Monza came to me and apologized, in a way, because now it's a lot clearer what the issues I was talking about were, Perez said. It was always the speculation around it and people saying the problem was I was not focused enough or other things, but at the end of the day, I'm just happy that we found the problem and that we can focus on that and improve it. Improve it they did not, and Checo lost his seat. But Red Bull knew the car had become too unstable, and they set fixing that as a goal for the winter break. But this winter, the Red Bull engineers have been like a pair of naughty boys who've broken one of Mum's vases. In trying to fix it before she finds out, they've covered it in glue, broken pieces further, and made a massive mess on the kitchen floor. To summarize, things have not improved. Following the confirmation of the driver switch, Red Bull have admitted that there is work to do on the car. Christian Horner explained the decision by saying, "We acknowledge there is a lot of work to be done with the RB21, and Yuki's experience will prove highly beneficial in helping to develop the current car. However, the decision has not sat well with Verstappen. Dutch outlet De Telegraaf, who have a close relationship with the Verstappen family, claim that the number one driver isn't happy with the call. Their F1 editor, Erik van Haren, commented that it's easy to guess what Verstappen thinks, given that he defended the New Zealander in China. He claimed that the Red Bull is not an easy car to drive and was to blame for Lawson's struggles. He also said that Lawson will probably be faster in a Racing Bulls car and that Yuki won't fare any better in a Red Bull, something that will now be put to the test in Japan. Red Bull's car and second driver problems are only a part of their difficulties at the moment, with the technical regulations being overhauled for 2026 and Verstappen's future at Red Bull uncertain. A poorly performing car and no solution in sight could lose Horner his prized asset. But before I talk about Max's future at Red Bull, or the lack of it, if you want to catch more of the news and analysis from this F1 season, then make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to F1 Reverse. Thanks a lot. Max is reportedly working behind the scenes at Red Bull's factory to solve the problems with the RB21, but it's yet to be seen if what's causing the car's issues is an easy fix. A report by Auto Racer says that Lawson's struggles have rekindled alarm bells that were set off by Sergio Perez's dramatic fall from grace last season. Technical director Pierre Vache believes that while Verstappen's input is proving to be a big help, it's also a limiting factor in diagnosing the problem. His ability to extract performance out of the car is hiding some of the main problems that Lawson and Perez faced and could quite easily compromise Tsunoda. It's something that Michael Schumacher famously did to all his teammates. He would drive a car that had issues to a race win because the level of his talent allowed him to succeed in spite of the problems that would have held back inferior drivers. That then stopped his team's engineers from making changes to resolve problems that their other drivers were suffering from. Verstappen will not be happy with the car that Red Bull have provided this season, and it will worry him about what is going to happen next year. Max Verstappen's dad, Jos, is foaming at the mouth over Red Bull's poor start to the season, according to Ralf Schumacher. There have been murmurs of unrest in the Verstappen camp for some time, and with Red Bull losing a number of key figures over the past 12 months, speculation is swirling around a possible move for 2026. That will only increase if Red Bull fails to give him a car capable of winning a fifth world title. Schumacher said recently, "You hear in the background that Jos is already foaming at the mouth, and since Max and Jos are one, you can assume that the die has already been cast in the background." It's no secret that Toto Wolff has a long-held desire to get Max Verstappen into his car. He hasn't been shy about admitting it either. When Hamilton announced he would be moving to Ferrari for this season, Wolff was honest that he had approached Verstappen about potentially taking the seat. That didn't work out in the end, but at the time, Verstappen was coming off the back of the most dominant season in F1 history. He had no reason to want to leave Red Bull. Things have changed since then though. Red Bull aren't providing Verstappen with a championship-winning car. There are serious concerns about the Red Bull and Ford engine project for next season. The loss of high-level technical staff have raised concerns over Red Bull's ability to design a competitive car, which have only been reinforced at the first two races of this season. George Russell's contract is up at the end of this season, and Mercedes are widely considered as favourites to produce the best engine for next year. There are a lot of factors that are lining up that make it seem like a Verstappen move to Mercedes is more likely than him staying with Red Bull. For Red Bull, getting their car sorted isn't just about competing for both championships this year, which is their stated goal for the season. It is also about keeping Verstappen at the team. While the Red Bull Youth program has plenty of good drivers in it at the moment, none of the F1 ready ones are the next Sebastian Vettel or Max Verstappen. If Verstappen goes elsewhere and Red Bull don't produce an outstanding car in 2026, then there could be some seriously tough times ahead for the team. Do you think Christian Horner is at risk of losing his prized asset? Or can they pull themselves out of this slump and get back in the fight with McLaren? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.